At the Sellwood Bridge in Portland, Oregon, construction work picked up during the month of June 2012. The most obvious developments were on the west side of the river. Mike Pullen of the Multnomah County Communications Office had these comments about the landslide mitigation work going on at the west side riverbank.
What basically is happening now is they're starting the landslide mitigation work, which is going to be this huge underground system to tie the bridge and the land that sits below it onto bedrock, to connect it so that the movement of the landslide won't dislodge the bridge and the interchange in the future the way it has in the past. So there'll be these underground ground anchors that go like for over 100 feet at a 45-degree angle. It's a very expensive and major part of the construction project that people will never see.
These coiled cables are what will become the ground anchors. This machine installs the ground anchors by drilling down through the ground into bedrock, inserting grout into the rock, and fixing one end of the group of cables into the grout. Later, these large concrete blocks will be placed on the ground over the ground anchors. The cables will be pulled through openings in the block. They will be pulled tight and held in place, and this will maintain a high level of tension in the ground from bedrock to the surface. This is done to stabilize the area. This pile of gravel is here to provide weight. For any soil removed from the area, an equal amount of weight has to be provided in the form of material brought onto the site in order to keep the ground as stable as possible during construction. These small wooden poles with bright ribbons are called survey stakes, and they have been placed here to indicate where to install the ground anchors. One stake is for the actual ground anchor location, and 2 additional stakes are placed at an offset in order to find the right location once the first stake is removed. As mentioned in prior slideshows, joint venture contractors Sladen and Sunt are first building a Detour Bridge, which will carry traffic temporarily when they start building the new Sellwood Bridge. To create the Detour Bridge, parts of the old Sellwood Bridge, the bridge deck on which you drive, walk, or bike, and the truss will be shifted over onto the piers, which are now under construction in the river. This is pier number 19. Below this A-frame structure, which was installed recently, there are 20 piles embedded in the ground deep below the river surface. Piers 18 and 20 nearby will also have similar A-frame structures once their remaining piles are driven further into the ground. From the bridge sidewalk, you can look down and see plywood near the tops of the old bridge piers. These wooden platforms are for the workers who are installing steel platforms from which to raise and shift the trusses of the existing bridge northward onto the Detour Bridge piers. Mike Pullen had the following comments about the platforms.
So on each of the river piers of the existing bridge, the contractor is building these platforms up near the top. They're drilling through the concrete columns and creating the platform that will be used to help jack the steel truss spans up off of it and begin to shift those horizontally about 40 feet onto the Detour Bridge columns. Think about the wood as where the workers are standing, and then they are drilling these holes all the way through the concrete column, and that's where steel poles will be, and that will start to form the base for the floor that they can jack up off of.
An interesting aspect of reusing the old Sellwood Bridge deck for the Detour Bridge is that one end of it will be shifted farther than the other end. Installation of the Detour Bridge will affect the condominiums on the east side, just north of the existing bridge.
The green and yellow townhouse that's closest to the bridge, that will be removed. And even before it's removed, I think they'll be constructing the column that will support the Detour Bridge there. The taller yellow building behind it, right where that taller building faces us, the west side of it, that's when the Detour Bridge will start. It'll swing over those N2 townhouses, and we'll just remove one of them. The second one, we bought it, but it'll have the Detour Bridge up above it. Once we take down the Detour Bridge, it could be occupied again later. And you can start to get a sense of the distance the bridge is going to have to travel as you line up the A-frame with where the workers are now. And as you get further west, it's a longer distance it has to travel. About 40 feet is the longest of the moves.
Recently, a large number of concrete panels were delivered and stockpiled on the east side of the river. These will form part of the bridge deck for the Detour Bridge. By the time the Detour Bridge opens, the road surface will be covered in asphalt. Also on the east side of the river, a portion of the trail is being widened north of the bridge at Spokane Street. This is to provide easier access to larger construction equipment that will be needed in the area. Here, a crew is drilling in the ground near the trail. This is to prepare for the installation of lagging to stabilize the hillside. This slideshow is the fifth in a series about the construction of a new Sellwood Bridge. For earlier slideshows, please visit www.sitespecificmedia.blogspot.com. For more information on the Sellwood Bridge project in general, please visit www.sellwoodbridge.org.